Hello, amazing woman. Welcome to this video, The Road to Your Transformation, which is all about our next call. Now, we've just spent some time connecting on a shorter call, and this video is really to talk to you about our next call and what that is all about. So I am going to just spend a little bit of time with you today, probably just 10 minutes or so. And what we're going to cover is we're going to talk about our next call. I'm also going to share with you who I am and what I do, just give you a little bit more detail around that. Then I'm going to share with you 3 keys that I believe are really important for your transformation and to really make sure that you get the most out of our time together and that gets you on the road to success. And then I'm going to talk to you about some brief homework that I'd like you to do before our next call. So first of all, I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you so much for the time that we spent together on our recent call. You know, time is precious. I know how busy everybody is, and you could have spent that time with your family and your loved ones, but you chose to spend it with me. And I just want you to know that I value the investment that you're putting into yourself and the time that we had together. So what is our next call all about? Well, I only invite 40% of the people that I talk to on our next call to consider becoming one of my clients. Now, my goal in this call is not to sell to you. It's not a sales call. But really what I want to do is to give you some value. I really want you to feel like you're walking away from the call having got a lot of value out of that time that we had together. Excuse me. And if at the end of the call we both feel as though there is a way that we can work together, then we will discuss that. And if not, then I really want to make sure that you get really incredible value from our time together. So I hope that sounds good. So who am I and what do I do? Well, as you know, my name is Louise. I have been working with women as a therapist, as a coach for close to 11 years now. And my time working with women has been absolutely amazing and incredible. I feel so blessed to have found this path in life. And what is so beautiful about working with women who are at the same point as you are now, which is ready to jump into the next stage of their life, ready to jump into change and into transformation, is that I absolutely love seeing what happens when we start to have this bloom happening, when we start to see this whole process unfold. It really is such an honor to be able to work with women in this way, and I feel very blessed. So who am I and what do I do? Well, I am a blessed mum to 3 boys. I'm a travel and adventure seeker. I love travel and I love adventure. And I'm also a spirit junkie. And it is my passion to awaken women to realize their true potential, to realize their true value, to realize their true path in life. And I've helped many align with the path that they deserve in this lifetime. And what I want you to know about the future is that I'm absolutely 100% sure that I will achieve success with my tribe of like-minded women. Together, I believe that we as women can change the world, that we can grow this world into a better and stronger place so that we can leave an uplifting legacy behind us for our children, for our friends, and for our family. So what is my story? I wanted to just briefly share my story with you so that you can understand the context behind why I am qualified to even talk to you in the first place. So going back to my early 20s, I spent most of my 20s trying to climb the corporate ladder. I was working 14-hour days. I was very driven, very much focused on my career. I was drinking a lot of coffee, having very little sleep, burning the candle at both ends. And my physical body was really suffering as a result. In my 20s, I was an insomniac. I was ridden with eczema. I was using my asthma pump daily, and I suffered from quite severe anxiety. And if I look back now and I reflect back now, I was on an absolute downward spiral to ill health. And so it wasn't until my late 20s when my husband, who was then my boyfriend, asked me, or he managed to persuade me to take a year out to go traveling, that I actually experienced some relief from my symptoms. And what that time away gave me was time to reflect on my life, time to really reflect on what I wanted. And I decided that it was time for me to give something back, for me to go into a vocation or a job that I was passionate about, where I could really give back to the community. And so I then decided to study a bachelor's degree in acupuncture medicine. And I then went on after that 4 years of study, to study hypnotherapy. And I did psychotherapy and eating psychology. And then I started working with women as a therapist rather than just as an acupuncturist. And the work was deeply fulfilling. However, on a personal level, I was still trying to live up to my own, and I suppose society's expectations of me, and these unrealistic expectations of me, which was that of superwoman and supermom. I remember, really thinking that I needed to be this superwoman and the supermom. And I loved it when people said to me, wow, isn't it amazing how much you can get done in one day? But by the time I reached my early 40s and still being stuck in my old patterns and habits, I was desperately trying to juggle the needs of my 3 boys, my 3 children, trying to manage the house, trying to have a relationship with my husband. All this whilst running an almost full-time acupuncture and counseling practice. And I was teaching my clients concepts like boundaries, self-love, self-compassion, but I wasn't actually giving anything back to myself. And so by 2016, I was completely burnt out. And my body couldn't take me not listening anymore. And what happened was that I developed this autoimmune condition of the skin. Now, the symptoms of this autoimmune condition were extreme and they were intense. I remember having severe itching all over my body, not being able to sleep at night because it felt like there were ants crawling under my skin. My face would swell up, my eyes would get puffy and red, and there was this absolute burning sensation all over my body. And so I was absolutely forced to take heed of the message that my body was giving me. Slow down and reconnect with yourself and with your body, or suffer the consequences. And so I was forced to scale back my practice to 2 days a week. And it wasn't until 2018 that I really saw the effect of the slowing down. And that was when my husband got a contract in Bangalore, India. And we went away for a year to India. And the most amazing thing about that time away was that I got all these things that I really, really needed to focus on me and to focus on my health. I got time again with myself and with my family. I got long periods of self-reflection. I started to meditate again. I started to practice yoga and Pilates, started journaling again, started reading again. And what I learned during this time is that whilst we as women are hugely capable, it's not actually possible nor desirable to be superwoman or supermom. So whilst I was trying to be everything to everyone and remaining enslaved to my limiting beliefs, I'd actually lost sight of what was important and meaningful to me. And that was connection, compassion, contribution, and community. And I realized then in my time away that it was time to take it back. And so I spent during the course of this year time in therapy as well. And I learned so much about myself in that period of time. And what I then did was I took all the tools and the tricks and the life hacks that I'd learned over the years from myself and from the women that I'd worked with, and I started implementing them in my own life. So I started to not only take time to slow down and to focus on myself, but I started to learn how to master my emotions and my own state of being. Yeah. And the result was this amazing strengthening of my own spiritual journey and a deep personal understanding of what it takes to really become my best self. But probably the greatest success of that year away was in learning to let go of fear. And in doing so, I learned to let go of what was holding me back from being my best self. And it was out of this that the Fearless Feminine Tribe was born. So I'm passionate, as I said, I'm passionate about empowering other women to realize and to live up their own true potential, just like I have and just like I am on the journey of doing. I want to help women to face their fears like I did and to let go of their limiting beliefs, but to do so in a way that's congruent with their body, with their mind, and with their spirit. So thank you for listening to my story. I hope it's given you some insight and some context into why I am actually qualified to, to help you and to work with you. So the next thing that we're going to talk about just briefly is there are 3 things that I believe are imperative to your success and because you're here to your inevitable transformation. Number 1, It's really important for you to have a clarity of purpose. We have to have a motive behind what we do, and we have to understand the why. Because if we understand the why, we can keep ourselves driving forward. We can't keep ourselves driving forward if we don't have this clarity of purpose, if we don't understand where we're going and why we want to get there. Because if we lose sight of that, we're never going to take the actions that it takes to get where we want to go. So clarity of purpose is the first. The second one is knowing what's standing in our way. In other words, what is holding us back? We have to get 100% clear on what has in the past and what is currently actually holding us back from achieving what we desire. Now, there are going to be external, so circumstantial, environmental factors at play, but there's also going to be internal ones. And these are the most important ones. Those internal factors like limiting beliefs, self-sabotage behaviors that are holding us back. Because if we don't identify what these are, we can't work to move them out of the way so that we can get where we want to go. And so once we have our clarity of purpose and we know what's standing in the way, we also have to make sure that we have what I call a do or die determined mindset. And by a do or die determined mindset, I mean that mindset that no matter what happens to us along the way, we don't let go of our vision and we keep going. Because what I learned over the years was that even though I had a clarity of purpose and I was going somewhere, every time that something went wrong or something didn't happen the way that I expected it to because I was such a perfectionist, I ended up believing that, oh, you know what, it hasn't worked before, it's just not going to work this time either. And so I would just stop what I was doing and I would lose sight of where I was going. And so what I'm asking you to do here is to be consistent and to continue to focus and to pick yourself up and dust yourself off no matter what. Because the only difference between those that have succeeded or those that do succeed and those that don't is the number of times that they failed. And I just wanted to share this quote with you, which I love. And the day came when the risk it took to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to bloom. And what I can't wait for is to see you bloom, no matter how long we work together, whether it's just for an hour or whether it's for a few weeks or a couple of months or whatever it is. I can't wait to see the buds and the leaves of that flower start to unfold and start to bloom so that you can live the life that you deserve to live. So for our next call, and just to finish off here, if I can ask you to please journal out 3 things. The first is to ask you, what's your biggest takeout from this video? So what was the thing that resonated the most with you? What really grabbed you during this video? The second thing is, what's the biggest shift or transformation that you would like to take place in your life right now? And then the third thing is, what's the biggest thing that's holding you back from making that shift, from achieving that transformation? So you can journal out just a couple of lines, or you can go and write out quite a bit more. And please bring your thoughts to our next call, because I'm really looking forward to going through those with you and to start mapping out for you your roadmap to getting where you want to go. I look forward to seeing you on our next call. Bye for now.